Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong has welcomed Washington's proposed Indo-Pacific economic plan and encourages greater ASEAN participation in it. Mr. Lee is in D.C. for the ASEAN-US Special Summit. He's meeting Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry and will attend a working lunch hosted by Vice-President Kamala Harris. These will be followed by more discussions with President Joe Biden and cabinet secretaries. And Mr. Biden capped the first day of the summit with dinner at the White House. This is the leaders' first in-person meeting since 2017. U.S. officials say the summit shows America's commitment to the region, where it is wrestling for dominance with China. The leaders will also discuss the impact of the ongoing war in Ukraine and global concerns such as climate change. Only 8 of the grouping's 10 leaders are in the summit. The Philippines had to sit out as it's in the midst of a power transition after its presidential election. Myanmar's military chief has been left out of this special gathering over the coup staged last year to depose the country's elected government. Leong Wai-kit tells us more about the significant discussions that have emerged in Washington so far and what to expect on day 2 of the summit.
U.S. President Joe Biden announced $150 million support for the region, spending in areas such as security, as well as infrastructure and pandemic preparedness. Now, that's on top of the $100 million that was announced last year at the ASEAN Summit. Now, based on the engagements of the ASEAN leaders on day 1 of the summit, one overarching theme is economy and investment. Now, the ASEAN leaders had attended a business event here in Washington where they urged U.S. firms to channel the investments to the region. Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong had also said that Singapore supports Washington's Indo-Pacific economic framework, and he also suggested that that framework should cover areas such as cooperation on digital and green economy as well as infrastructure, because those areas would resonate strongly with the region. Of course, the bulk of the discussions would happen on day 2 of the summit, where we are expected to hear the views of ASEAN leaders on various issues, including the pandemic, the Ukraine crisis, and closer back home, the Myanmar crisis.